This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
New at 11 tonight, parents on the north side air their concerns about guns on campus after two disturbing discoveries in Washington Township schools.
Since the beginning of the school year, guns have been found at North Central High and West Lane Middle. RTV6's Cameron Riddle shows you what parents learned from police tonight about keeping their kids safe at school.
For many parents, they may feel like it's happening more often. Guns found on school property, whether in a car or inside a building. Parents here in Washington Township say it is time to do something before their worst fears become a reality. Washington Township parents say they aren't used to seeing headlines about guns in their kids' school. But this school year, it's happened twice at two Washington Township schools. Two phone calls that didn't sit well with parents.
My first reaction was fear, of course. I think it's hard for a parent to receive that phone call. I think when Noblesville happened a couple of years ago, that was really concerning. It was in our backyard. Now when we start getting the calls from our own principals, it's scary.
Kelly Baumgarn is a concerned parent and the president of the Washington Township Parent Council. She has two children in the district. Both go to the schools where guns were found. Incidents that left her wondering, why is this happening and what can parents do to stop it?
So immediately, the board of directors of the Parent Council Network started piling our ideas, and we said, we really need to talk about this. We know this is a problem and we need to address it.
Brian Klaus is the chief of police for Washington Township Schools and is part of that conversation. He says there are several things parents can do to help, and it starts with paying attention and asking questions about what their kids are doing online, a place where students could be posting warning signs.
The parents need to know usernames and passwords and be able to get into those accounts and be aware they have apps that hide the other apps and know that and question your children. What are you doing here? Who are you talking to? Because a lot of the behavior that gets reported to us comes out of social media, and we're able to interdict it fairly quickly.
Brian Moore has a daughter at one of the schools where a gun was found. He says he's encouraged to see a packed room of parents looking for solutions to an ongoing problem.
This is a conversation, I'd say it goes beyond just kind of the Facebook conversation where everybody kind of gets upset for a while and kind of goes there. And there's a need for that. There's a space for that because I think people are trying to find ways to process it. But I think just encouraging parents just to kind of continue just to be there to just fight for our kids.
Working for you in Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Well, during tonight's meeting, police discussed how important it is for parents to keep their own firearms locked up and off limits to kids to make it harder for young people to get their hands on deadly weapons.
Now in the tracking center, Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kevin Gregory. Kevin, it's quite nice out.
Comfortable temperatures. We're headed into the 50s one more time. Then low temperatures and high temperatures going way up within the 7-day planner. Dry this evening. The showers have moved on into the Buckeye State. We'll be dry for the next 24 hours. Temperatures tomorrow will be the coolest that we'll have over the next week, so enjoy that. Warming trend really starts to kick in on Friday. These were today's highs. We made it above 80 degrees. That broke our 2-day stretch with highs in the 70s. Down along the Ohio River, temperatures already in the upper 80s, close to 90. Our current temperature in Indianapolis at 73. Mid-60s, as you can see in Lafayette. This is with low humidity. It feels good. You'll wake up to 56 degrees, dry and comfortable. You can choose another adjective if you want. Tomorrow afternoon, lots of sunshine. Temperatures in the 70s. We'll talk about the timing of some rain, how many opportunities are ahead coming up.
People in a Northside neighborhood hosted another Crime Watch meeting tonight after a recent outbreak of thefts and burglaries. There have been package thefts, car break-ins, and burglaries in Butler-Tarkington. The neighborhood association hopes the Crime Watch group and police can work together to stop thieves from targeting the area. The crimes may seem petty, but homeowners say they should be taken seriously.
These things we still don't want to tolerate. Yes, they're small, but we don't want them in their neighborhood.
It's escalated a little bit from what I can see over the last couple of weeks, and we just don't want it to get worse.
The Neighborhood Association president says he reached out to IMPD and the department is increasing patrols. Working for you. If you're concerned about crime in your neighborhood, go to the RTV6 app and click on this story to learn how to start a crime watch group.
New at 11, the search for a man accused of severely beating his own mother is over. About 30 minutes ago, Metro Police announced they have located 44-year-old Bobby Gibson Jr. Officers had been searching for him since yesterday after they were called to State Street near Sumner Avenue on the south side on a report of a disturbance. Police found a woman with critical injuries and later learned her son left the scene. An Indianapolis man found guilty of murdering his mother's boyfriend has been sentenced to 50 years in prison. Police say Jacob McIntosh admitted to shooting and killing Jesse Daniels in January of last year in a home on the east side. McIntosh claimed Daniels had been taking advantage of his mother and was stealing from her.
2 months after a woman reported a man raping her along the Wabash Heritage Trail in West Lafayette, police have made an arrest. Investigators released this surveillance video shortly after the alleged attack on July 20th. 21-year-old Leandre Williams faces several charges, including rape and sexual battery. And there is a new initiative to give a voice to rape and sexual assault survivors. The groups Women for Change and the Indiana Coalition to End Sexual Assault are calling the project The Clothesline. It's based on an artwork that transforms a clothesline into a forum for discussion on sexual violence. It features postcards with personal stories from victims. The cards will be collected and shared with lawmakers. Organizers hope the emotional connection will lead to stronger state laws when it comes to prosecuting sexual assault.
To the survivors who share their stories on these postcards and to those who simply aren't ready to do so, please know that we stand with you. To the lawmakers, we stand ready to work in partnership with you to reduce those statistics. We simply must.
According to the State Department of Health, more than 1.5 million people in Indiana report being raped or sexually assaulted. Over the next year, you will see art exhibits, writing workshops, and many other events related to the Clothesline Project.
Another decision from the Northwest Hendricks School Board is facing criticism. Last night, the board voted to allow Tri-West High School Athletic Director Nathan Bagley and Dean of Students Stacy Bagley to return to their positions. Call 6 Investigates has been following these developments for months. The Bagleys were placed on administrative leave back in July after Coach Tyler Bruce was accused of sexual misconduct with a student. Well, some have questioned how the Bagleys handled the situation. The board went against the administration's recommendation to cancel their teaching contracts. Bruce has been on administrative leave since July while a criminal investigation continues. He denies the allegations against him and has not been criminally charged. You can read more about the ongoing case and the latest developments by clicking on this story in the RTV6 app.
Lawmakers are getting their first look at the whistleblower complaint involving President Trump. This comes hours after the White House released a summary of the call between the president and the leader of Ukraine at the center of an impeachment inquiry. ABC's Rachel Scott is in Washington with what's next and how the president is responding.
In a secure room in the basement of the Capitol, lawmakers from the House Intelligence Committees were able to get their first look at the whistleblower complaint at the center of a tug-of-war between the White House and Congress.
I found the allegations deeply disturbing. I also found them very credible.
After pressure from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, the administration handing over that complaint they tried to block from getting to Congress. This evening, at least one Republican now saying, quote, there is a lot that is really troubling there. It comes after the White House released the summary of a call between President Trump and the leader of Ukraine. On Capitol Hill, the stark division between the two parties on full display.
To impeach any president over a phone call like this would be insane.
That is textbook abuse of power, and the transcripts have become Exhibit A.
That call is believed to be tied to the whistleblower's complaint that the Inspector General found to be of urgent concern and credible. The president defending that call.
You take a look at that call, it was perfect. I didn't do it. There was no quid pro quo.
That document reveals the president repeatedly urged the president of Ukraine to work with his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, to help investigate his potential 2020 rival, Joe Biden, and his son, who had business interests there.
Today's release release of the notes of the call by the White House confirms this behavior, which undermines the integrity of our election, the dignity of any presidency.
And all of this comes just 24 hours after Pelosi launched that official impeachment inquiry. Now more than 200 House Democrats are behind that effort, but most Republicans in the Senate say those Democrats don't have a case. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
CNN is reporting the anonymous whistleblower has tentatively agreed to meet with lawmakers. And Vice President Mike Pence is scheduled to speak in Indianapolis tomorrow about the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. He'll be at the U.S. Postal Service's Eagle Hub at the airport. Then on Friday, he will tour the state's Neurodiagnostic Institute and Advanced Treatment Center on the east side.
Tonight, both candidates for mayor of Indianapolis pitched their best ideas to end homelessness in the city as they participated in a moderated discussion about the issue. The discussion was part of the CHIP celebration program. CHIP, or Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention, is a local organization designed to end homelessness in Indianapolis. Democratic Mayor Joe Hogsett and Republican Senator Jim Merritt took 5 questions each on this issue.
No one should live in a cardboard box, especially a veteran.
But the truth is, 78 cities and 3 states have effectively ended veteran homelessness. So, point 1, it can be done.
You can watch the full discussion on the RTV6 Facebook page. And by the way, Election Day is November 5th.
Alexa can now help you apply for a job, at least with one major company. We'll explain how that process works.
Also ahead, amid growing reports of illnesses and deaths related to vaping, one of the biggest e-cigarette manufacturers is making big changes. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Welcome back. You won't see advertisements for a popular electronic cigarette brand anytime soon. Today, Juul announced it will stop all television, print, and digital marketing. The CEO of the company also resigned. The shakeup comes as Congress looks into the sudden increase of illnesses linked to vaping and the growing number of children using the products. The acting commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration testified on Capitol Hill today.
I want to assure the subcommittee that I'm firmly committed to employing all the tools at FDA's disposal to tackle these important problems. We will not rest until we have answers to the questions in the investigation and until we've dramatically reduced the access and appeal of e-cigarettes to children.
Rhode Island, Michigan, and New York have banned flavored vaping products. More than 500 illnesses and at least 11 deaths across the country have been linked to vaping, including 1 death in Indiana.
A driver faces charges in connection to a deadly crash on I-70 that turned into a homicide investigation. Investigators found 27-year-old Devin Anderson dead in a car on the interstate near Post Road on the east side Saturday evening. Initially, police thought injuries from the accident caused Anderson's death, but an autopsy uncovered a gunshot wound to his head. The driver of a second car involved in the crash, 24-year-old Juan Vivas, faces a murder charge now.
If you live, work, or drive on the northwest side of Indianapolis, 4 brand new ramps are open at this hour. And today, the Department of Public Works wrapped up construction on the ramps connecting Kessler Boulevard North Drive to I-65 and West 38th Street. The nearly $2 million project started in July. The original ramps opened in 1963.
Well, separate job fairs will be held tomorrow, connecting you to different opportunities. A new community justice campus in Indianapolis is creating a need for construction workers. You can learn more at a career fair from 10 to 2 tomorrow at Light of the World Christian Church on North Michigan Road. Organizers say the project is a great stepping stone for workers.
There will be hundreds of opportunities at that project because it's not just a short-term project. There are going to be several different buildings that are being built on that campus, and so it's a huge opportunity. Even if you get the training this year and you're able to get on the project next year, there will be years to come of opportunity, not only at that project, but on future projects, on opportunities around the city.
Resources like record expungement services, information on high school equivalency programs, and BMV services will be available for people who may be facing employment barriers. And opportunities in many different industries will be available at tomorrow's career fair at the Marriott on the East 21st Street. It goes from 11 to 2. Employers looking to hire include Carmel Clay Schools, Charter Spectrum, Meridian Health Services, and FedEx. And here are some tips from our Hiring Hoosiers career coach on how to make the most out of a job fair. Pre-register if you can so you can identify and research the organizations and companies participating. training. Consider tailoring resumes to specific employers and practice a pitch, a short 30 to 60-second speech explaining who you are, your skills, and your career goals.
Central Indiana students are learning how to turn zeros and ones into alien invaders, ghosts, or anything else they can imagine. The Mackenzie Career Center created a program for students to develop video games. They make storylines and use Unity 3D software to program the games. Instructors say the course gets students excited about coding.
I really just want to be on a team that we all code together and we make great games that I think everyone will enjoy. That's honestly my dream.
The program is part of a partnership with IUPUI's I Do program. Students can earn college credit. The program also prepares them for entry-level jobs in coding and programming. McDonald's is getting help from Amazon and Google in an effort to attract new workers. Starting today, the fast food giant will let you start an application by using voice commands using Alexa or Google's Assistant. If you say, "Alexa, help me get a job at McDonald's," she'll ask which country they want to work in. After that, you can share their phone number for a link to continue the application process.
She really does everything, doesn't she?
Easy. Well, a new program in Plainfield is helping students go the extra mile and beyond.
Yeah, kids in the Trailblazers in Motion program tonight at Central Elementary School took an 8-mile bike ride through the town's trail system for the first time. The program helps students learn bike safety and leadership skills.
One of the things that we've done is establish this as part of our curriculum for 4th and 5th grade students. So they participate in learning safety drills and skills. They also learn just the balance and how to ride a bike. We've had children who are 5th graders who have never ridden a bike before, which is hard to believe, and through our class are now riding a bike.
Gear Up Cyclery donated 19 bikes for the program, and a grant from Duke Energy paid for 5 more, as well as safety equipment.
It's been a good couple of days to ride your bike.
Right, it's been a great month.
Nice.
I'd say there's probably only 2 or 3 days where you would hesitate to head out and ride the bike. It will get warm. We're going to blaze a trail close to 90 degrees early next week. Let's talk about showers and maybe a rumble of thunder that you heard earlier in the evening. A select few had at least a little rain going, gone. It's now over into the Buckeye State. We'll stay dry next 24 hours. I just want to show you, and you can see the slope to the rise in temperatures, a significant change and a sustained change in our temperature. Coolest day of the next week occurs tomorrow. We'll stay around average. 74 is average for this time of the year. We'll be near record highs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as a bubble of warmth from the Gulf Coast all the way into the Great Lakes drifts north. This will impact the eastern 2/3 of the country. Out to the northwest will be below average. Next week, there are the predicted highs each day. The record high is 89. And I'll just mention the warmest temperature we've ever recorded in the month of October in Indianapolis is 91 degrees. That's certainly not out of the question. 73 is the temperature in Indianapolis, 75 in Bedford. Those are the warm temperatures. As you shop around, you can see 59 degrees in Crawfordsville. That's one of the cool spots. We'll all be united in the 50s in the morning. Dry, comfortable. As we go through the day tomorrow, temperatures move from the mid-50s into the mid-70s. I usually take dogs for a walk during my evening forecast, but Opie, I thought I'd give him a walk tomorrow morning. He's got a little sweater on. It could also be a swimsuit because he loves to go swimming, I'm told.
He's set.
Yeah, temperatures in the 50s in the morning. You send your picture, dog's picture, to kevin.gregory@wrtv.com, and I'll take your dog for a walk during the forecast. How about that? 70 at noon tomorrow. Afternoon highs potentially up to 78. I think in most cases we'll fall short of that. High temperatures at or below average in the northern portion of the state. Friday, we step it up noticeably into the middle 80s. That wind will be strong out of the southwest. I'll point this out as well. As temperatures start to warm up, our chance for a shower or thunderstorm 1 to 4 enters northwest Indiana. 4 to about 7 still staying on this Lafayette to Muncie line north. And as we go into early Saturday, the same. Friday night football, likely dry central Indiana. You'll have a little better chance for a thunderstorm. Lafayette, Kokomo, Logansport, temperatures warmer, 81 to start the games and then falling from there. Temperatures over the weekend. Mid-80s, chance for thunderstorms both Saturday and Sunday. Once the warm air firmly establishes control and we start pushing toward record highs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that also means our rain chance pretty much disappears, and that bubble of warmth will push all the thunderstorms and rain well north
of us. Enjoy a return of summer there. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin, for that.
All right, Brad Brown is here, and he's standing by with sports.
Thanks, team. For any of us who get to talk sports for a living, we walk in the shadows of some great broadcasters that came before us. Well, one of baseball's best will be calling his final inning tomorrow. We're in Cincinnati to catch up with Reds Hall of Famer Marty Brennaman. It's only on RTV6, and it's next on the news at 11. Triple Jeweler. And good evening, everyone. It is the final week of the regular season in Major League Baseball. Many teams are preparing for the offseason. The Reds, meanwhile, they're preparing for a retirement. Longtime broadcaster Marty Brennaman will turn on his microphone for the final time tomorrow. He leaves behind a lifetime of memories. Only on RTV6, Dave First catches up with the Reds Hall of Famer. The voice of summer is tonight's Sports Extra Spotlight.
We have 83 delightful degrees.
His voice is as recognizable as the uniforms in Cincinnati. But Marty Brennaman is ready to call it a career.
1 ball and no strikes.
I wanted to quit last year, but I wanted to do it with no bugles blaring. I wanted to do the last game of the season and then announce the next morning I retired. The club said, no, you can't do that. That's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to the club.
So last January, a heartfelt official announcement was made.
I'm retiring as a broadcaster with the Cincinnati Reds. To say that it's been an incredible ride, that's what it's been. And you folks have made have had a lot to do with it.
All right, again, everybody, welcome back to the yard.
The season caps 46 with the Reds, 31 of which
a step back once again
was spent with the old left-hander, Joe Nuxall, an era that's already been recognized in Cooperstown when Marty received the coveted Ford C. Frick Award. Heck, there's even a Marty and Joe bobblehead on exhibit in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Have you thought much about what opening day in 2020 is going to be like and you're not going to work?
I thought a little bit about it. I would imagine I'll be here. I've got an agreement done with the club that I'm going to make appearances for them in events that they think it's important for me to be there, and I would imagine that'll be one of them. But I've never given it a second thought about walking away as a broadcaster with a club. I just figure 46 is enough, and the other part of it is that I'm healthy. I don't know another 77-year-old as healthy as I am.
It wasn't all baseball. Under the Jack McKinney-led Pacers, it was Marty who was doing the TV play-by-play.
You did the Pacers back in 83 and 84.
I did, and enjoy it. I had a great time. I worked for the Simons for a couple of years and worked with Jerry Harkness, and they weren't very good.
I was going to say, that wasn't a good season.
No, they were not good.
Kenny was the coach.
Yes, and I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I was treated well, and I have great affection for that franchise.
But baseball was it. From Pete Rose's record breaker,
And it is pandemonium here at Riverfront Stadium.
to World Series titles.
The Cincinnati Reds have done the absolute improbable.
To something as simple as,
And this one belongs to the Reds.
there's only one Marty, and for generations of Reds fans, he'll be greatly missed.
I would like to think that people would say he was credible, and you could believe what he said. And if that's what my legacy is, then I'm happy as I could possibly be. And I think people know that when I say something, that they can pretty much take it to the bank.
The Reds' last home game is tomorrow afternoon. Marty admits that his final day will be a tough one, but the real reality of his retirement won't come until it's time for the Reds to report to spring training. Marty loved going to Arizona with the team. He won't next spring. Time for one more break. We're back to the desk to finish up tonight's edition of the News at 11. Next.
And before the play clock expires.
I think this is a great time of year. I mean, temperatures comfortably cool in the morning, still mild in the afternoon. That applies to tomorrow only.
The most wonderful time of the year?
Right, yeah.
Before it goes right back up.
That does it for us here at 11. Thanks for joining us.
GMI starts at 4:30. Good night.